Hi, everybody. Figured I'd give you an update. I haven't done a video, I haven't done a blog, and wow, since I think December of last year, things went really downhill. But I made the best of it. I tried to get myself healthy. Um, I wasn't eating enough. Even though I thought I was eating enough, I was not eating enough. Um, I did find out a few things that was kind of interesting. My sun sign progressed into a Cancer. I think I was 34, so it's been many, many years. Had no idea. And then there's something also called a Uranus or a Uranus um, attack on your natal chart. I know it sounds really weird, but kind of explains a few things. So if you don't know anything about that, you might want to look it up. Um, so my sun sign changed into, it progressed into a Cancer. Cancers are able to pull information from other people, whether it's around them or whether it's ancestors, or they have somewhat of a psychic ability more than other signs. Um, Cancers actually can feel people's emotions around them, people that they talk to, or just people that are around them, neighbors. Um, I think that's a lot of what has to do with things because I get neighbors' names constantly in my head. Um, okay, so on my health kick, I began eating everything that you can think of that was extremely healthy. I read so many books on health to try to conquer the different things that I was coming up with. This thing has been going on for so many years. And after digging into so many different things and knowing that I'm eating healthy, not always, I am human and I do like, I like sugar. I like gravy. Um, I like meat. Here, you're only supposed to have this much meat a day. You have any more than that, you're hurting yourself. So, anyway, I'm not full vegetarian, but I'm pretty close to it. Um, so, anyway, my sun sign changing into Cancer. There's something very strange about the whole thing, and I don't know if I'm the only one, and I really doubt that I am. Um, Mine isn't like just ideas or someone's emotions, it's their health problems. I wake up in the morning and sometimes I have symptoms of high blood pressure. Sometimes I have symptoms of diabetes. Sometimes I have um, a hip problem, um, something with my urinary problem, my muscles in my arms. You could think of so many different things that it could be. Um, so after a while, and I've told people that if these health problems are mine, I'll take them. If it's something that it's in me, I'll take them. If it's definitely mine. But after so many years of having all these different health problems that were just out of control, like one week I'd have this, and one week I'd have that, and the next week I'd have that. And if I went to the doctors for all of those things, it would look, I, first off, my hospital bills would be extremely, extremely high. Secondly, I mean, it would get to the point where my doctor would think that I was crazy, which I know I am. Why do I know I am? Because menopause is here. You know, I'm of the age of menopause. So Crazy Town has arrived. It arrived years ago for me. I'm used to it. I don't care. Um, okay, so my whole thing over the winter and into the spring was about my health. I wanted to get more healthy if it was definitely mine. So I started with herbs. I started, trying to make myself healthier through herbs, rosemary, lavender, basil, comfrey, all these different things. Nettle, so many different herbs. Um, so I started to notice potassium and magnesium. So I started to actually write down what my potassium and what my magnesium was. Here, I was getting enough. I was getting enough potassium. I was getting enough magnesium. Um, I even went as far as getting a blood pressure cuff because I was experiencing high blood pressure. Um, It was definitely, I mean, it was high, but it wasn't like extremely high that I needed the emergency room or anything. Um, so then I was like, okay, so I started to help myself by either taking aspirin, you can take willow. Um, Willow's mainly for pain, though. There's so many different things that you can take, so many things you shouldn't take if you have high blood pressure. Um, But during this whole thing, after I did all that, I decided to look up my salt, my sodium intake. My sodium intake was horrible, absolutely horrible. You're supposed to get, the average person is supposed to get 2,000 milligrams a day. I was getting under 500. Somebody asked me, don't you eat salt? Don't you put, salt on different things? I think it's because the way that my parents were, they both had high blood pressure. So there was no salt in the house. The brand was actually called No Salt. And I put, or I think that's what it came about. I just got used to not eating food that was very salty. And once I was married and had children and everything, of course, I added salt to different things, but it wasn't my thing. Now that I'm on my own, I had a salt deficiency. With salt deficiencies, you can get a number of different things that can happen to you. The main thing is mind fogginess. You become extremely strange. Um, Hallucinations can even get to that point. It affects your blood pressure. If you take too much salt, of course, you have high blood pressure. But I really had to do digging on low blood pressure. Um, and it wasn't only that I always had low blood pressure, it was still hitting the high points. And that's where I think the health vampires come in. Um, People pulling off of my energy, the health the healthy way that I am living, and other people that will not do it or don't have the means to, or just flat out, I mean, they enjoy, greasy, um meaty, salty foods, and I was taking on their health problems. It caused me to be extremely angry about the whole thing. Um, I don't enjoy taking other people's health problems. I absolutely do not, and I will not. If it's mine, I will take it. If it's not, get the fuck off me. Anorexia is the other thing. You can get anorexia, and I believe that I have had tendencies of where I become anorexic. It's just something, it's a part of me from my childhood, I think. I don't know. Um, and you can die if you don't have enough salt in your body. Um, so that was a big wake up call for me. Um, I was going to go into rosemary and lavender and basil and comfrey. I started a garden. Me and my husband would always have a garden. But I wasn't real big on the whole herb thing, had no idea some of the things that herbs can actually do. It's pretty awesome. They don't always work. Um, like some books will say that something is good for this or that, and then it turns out that it doesn't do crap. Um, what I've had luck with, um, rosemary took a long time for me to grow. It's actually growing. I'm actually getting the rosemary. Um, it's not growing like huge. Um, lavender, I haven't had luck with. My basil plant is awesome. Um, I've been cooking a lot with basil. Comfrey, I've been using that mainly as a fertilizer. And I just did my first comfrey fertilizer, which is really, really cool. It stinks horribly, absolutely disgusting. It's worse than crap smell to me. But all you do is you put water on the leaves, put a rock or a small pebble or something on top of the leaves, and leave it sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it'll turn a light brown or even a dark brown, and it's ready. That's it concentrated. And then you're going to add, I think it's I think it's one or no. I think it's 2 tablespoons of comfrey fertilizer to 1 gallon of water. So anyway, I just did my first comfrey fertilizer 2 days ago, and I haven't had any luck with my zucchini. Like I was not getting, um, like I would notice the honeybees coming around, but I was not coming up with zucchini plants. The flowers were blooming, the plants look really, really awesome, but I wasn't getting anything coming, I wasn't getting any fruit coming on the zucchini plants. Um, and then just today, this morning, I looked and I believe that it's from the comfrey fertilizer. I actually have 2 or 3 zucchini plants that are coming. So it's food, it's good. I can do so many different things with zucchini. There's zucchini pudding, zucchini pie, mock pie, apple pie. There's so many different things that you can do with zucchini. Let me think. Is there anything else? I'm one of those people that don't always believe everything that is on the internet, um, or what somebody tells me. I have to find out if I'm interested in the subject. I have to find out on my own, usually through 1, 2, or 3 books. That's just the way that I am. And I forget what point I was going to make. I'm going to cut this part out. Um, what was I just saying? I was talking about zucchini, talking about it completely just left. All right. So that part will get cut out. So, healing my psychic maladies. That's the only thing I can come up with. Um, it sounds really, really crazy, but until you actually have everything that you can think of, I've had it. And I had to start talking with my ancestors. Um, there is actual, like, for some reason, it's almost like people that, and I've had it many different times. You see all these different TV shows about these psychics that go after these people that are dead. Mine isn't like that at all. It is people that are still alive. People that are still alive and they're sick and they latch on to me. Why did they latch on to me? Because I'm by myself. And if I'm not strong enough, if I have too many different health problems, of course, I'm not as strong. And health vampires will definitely get to that. Um, Sometimes I'll get names that'll come to me, and or I'll get the face, like I'll think of, it'll just randomly come, or I'll actually see somebody the following day after going through something. Maybe it's knee pain or whatever, or maybe it's my head, headaches, ear ringing, throat problems, you name it, whatever ends up coming to me the night before. And then the next day, I'll see the person and they'll just be like a really weirdness that I notice about certain people. And then it'll come in the newspaper a day or two later that that person died. Um, did I actually see that person at the grocery store? No. I didn't actually, and I don't talk to them because they give me a weird vibe. And it's so weird that I just remain quiet. And then I see them in the obituary a day or two later. It's very strange, but that is me. And I fight it off. Like just last night, I was fighting off, what was it? There was like a coldness in my chest and in my back. And it wasn't, a hotness. I've had that many different times, but this one was a coldness. It was in my upper back and in my chest. And it wasn't like a cough cold. It was actually feeling like somebody was putting ice on my back and on my chest. It didn't hurt, but it was really annoying. Okay, so I gave you my update. Oh, the biggest news. I'm excited. My book finally was accepted from by the Library of Congress. Don't know what's going to happen with it next, but haven't decided yet what course I'm going to take with it because there's so many different things that I can do. Number one, I can wait for um, publishing companies to get a hold of me, which I could be waiting forever and ever and ever. Number two, I could put it on Amazon or any of the other number of different websites that are out there that you can put your books on that people will, that it'll get noticed and you can sell it. When you do that, you lose a percentage of whatever because the website actually takes a certain percentage of each sale. So I'm not sure about doing that. I could do it on my own. That's harder. Um, Not saying it can't be done, but I know it's harder. Um, the next thing, or there were so many different times over those years that I had, it was mainly punctuation. Like it didn't matter what computer I was on, the punctuation, like I'd always have like 3 or 4 spaces after a comma or after a period or after a question mark. There'd always be like these 3 or 4 spaces in between. And no matter what I did to try to move it over, it wouldn't move over. Or I would get it to where it was moved over, and the next time I went through, there was spaces in between. So there's errors that could be fixed, and of course I would want them fixed. So to me that sounds like my next thing. um did I cover everything I wanted to talk about? I think so. All right, well, thanks for listening. Have a good day.